Invite, we suspect. From a newspaper clipping. With great regret, we write it in our theater. It is about the sudden death of our milked actress Ilyevich, who managed to make a break to the river with our favorite in a short time. That is, apart from ours, all the more so because she arbitrarily ended her young, promising life through poisoning. And this poisoning is all the more terrible because the actress took me in the theater itself. She, unfortunately, passed away. There are rumors in the city that his satisfied love brought her to this terrible act. The investigation believes that these rumors are not energized. Gentlemen of the suspect, we have gathered you in order to identify the perpetrators, bringing the mistress. What about the murder? There is reason to believe that one of you may be involved in this crime. It is now going to be an investigative experiment to reconstruct the events of the past. Okay, suspect number 1, introduce yourself. I have been living in Moscow for 25 years, a small wooden one, on Shabo. My aunt lives with me, the sister of my late brother. The deceased was familiar. Yes, thank you. So, from the suspect's dossier, the father and his nickname had a black book, and there is a miracle, it's natural. Islam was also engaged in chemistry, neologiology, botany, medicine. The voluntary patient was treated with herbs, not with metal powders of his own invention, according to the method of the process. With these very powders he sat down in the grave. That is, a wife who will be passionate, from whom he had the only power. He allegedly treated his comrades, met almost no one, was especially alienated by a woman, lived very secluded, armed in a book. But lately, he has become addicted to photography. The smell of snadby used to bother him very much. The aunt of suspect number 1, Yakov Eratov, is a native aunt with whom he lives. Suspect number 2, please introduce yourself.
Ivanovna, dear Yasha, the deceased are not familiar with. I'm sorry, I just don't.
Yes, that's it. Thank you. That's enough. Thank you. So, the pack, the dossier, the great help of his entire existence, his constant companion and friend was his aunt, with whom I hardly exchanged 10 words a day, from which I could not enter a step. He manages the household, conducts expenses, which the speaker is quite capable of. Yakov, as already mentioned, was estranged comrades, but he got along quite closely with one of them and gave it often. Even after this comrade entered the service in the IDO of the university, however, it was not enough. He, in his words, perched on the construction of the Church of the Savior, nothing, of course, in architecture, not in the sense of Novoibin. Okay, suspect number 3, introduce yourself. Fedorovich. He was a manager for 25 years. So, this only friend by the name of Kufer is a German, for that he drank, that not a single word in German, and even the merry fellow swore, the dialect is a great lover of the very female society, that Eratov avoided so much. There are always 3 theaters, concerts. So well, come on. Let's start over. Clara's first performance in Moscow took place at a literary music venue, where is suspect number 3 of the stewards. Suspect number 1. Tell us, how did you end up in this? One morning, a buffer appeared in front of me.
You see, there is such a society of artists, amateurs, who arrange various concerts, readings, theatrical performances for this purpose.
And so we arranged such a musical, on which you can hear.
He doesn't know until the end yet.
Because she sings and plays. Very talented. Dangerous. Without involvement. An amazing girl. But I can't say that. She intensified about the book, I still played the province somewhere. There is
attraction. Not.
Well, this is a real one, but that's what everyone calls her. Shortly before that, I read a novel by Walter Scott, All the Civil Years. The heroine of this novel is called Clara Brady. In this 40s, Krasov wrote her a poem ending with the words unhappy plans. Unhappy. Tchaikovsky. And then
This is first.
Tchaikovsky, and in the end. Now I'm 5 rubles somewhere. Because I have a ruble in this pocket, and this is a...
I entered at that moment and, looking into his face, the United States is very concerned. Me, what's the matter? Why are you embarrassed?
And what did you say? I'm not going in my own. I'm going to answer the question of the greater. Hastily snatched it out, stretched out to me and he ordered to clap his hands, now in this course, 5 rubles.
I was surprised. She blinked her eyes, but gave it back.
I'm telling you, a miracle of miracles. Wait for me tomorrow. Okay, thanks. Tell me, who was the organizer of this concert after all?
Me.
Suspect number 4, introduce yourself.
Georgian. The prince. Literature is patronizing. I keep, as they say, straws, It's going to be diverse, and the most famous creativity was mostly incredible. It showed. She was at my literary one, where she had a fantastic one. A great success. When Clara came out.
Okay, thanks.
Yes,
So, from the personal body of the suspect. The identity is vague, almost suspicious. They went different, not quite profitable, not quite clear. Rumors. No one handed over her husband. What are you saying there? I'm done. So, no one knew her husband, and she did not chew for a long time in any city. She had no children, no fortune, but she lived openly, on loan or otherwise. They also said that when she disappeared from a city, she always left as many foreigners in them as people were benefactors. Who, as expected, got into her house and became close to her. Evil tongues claimed that he was too close to a person. I always responded. They not only respectfully shouted to the golden woman, what is not being interpreted there? Sincerely. Yes, thank you. Be kind, please tell us, well, in more detail somehow about this literary musical.
Fat. You wrote, sometimes even a contest. There was a theatrical performance, but this time there was no way. Several topics that were organized. We had small countries.
And the tickets are 5 rubles. 5 rubles.
Piano. And very expensive. And the door to the room, which was intended for invited artists, was covered with red.
It was, as they say, motley. Mostly men. Exactly, these people were not here, but let there be reconstruction. Yes, please. Medina was already sitting in the hall. I placed myself at some distance from her, either by exchanging software with her. I, as one of the managers with such a bottle, fussed and fussed with all my might.
I was worried, looking around, talking to the neighbors. She sent smiles all over the place. Smoking is prohibited during the investigative experiment.
Yes, that's right. Gentlemen of the jury, we remind you that smoking harms your. He was the first on the stage. A mysterious kind, and spat.
What?
That is, he whistled. Also ticklish properties. 2 people forbade marriage. Then some fat gentleman with glasses. It looks very solid even. He read Shedrinsky into the queue in a bass voice, clapping in line, not him. Then the piano player came and thundered, true fantasy. And the piano player was awarded a challenge. He melted himself by perching the structure on the back of a chair, and after each bow waving his hair just like you.
Absolutely.
Finally, after quite a long interval, it appeared.
The audience erupted with applause and ovation. Everyone clapped.
With hesitant steps, she approached the front of the stage, not crouching, not laying her head, not smiling. Natures are passionate, strict. It affected everything. She did not raise her eyes for a while, but then suddenly bent over, led the audience to the pier with her, but inattentively, as if in a deep look.
What tragic eyes! Like, the person sitting yelled, "Gray-haired, to hell."
I was and wanted to say stupid things. I told the truth. I did not take my eyes off Clara's very appearance, but when she noticed me in the first one, she seemed delighted, blushed, and looked at me with her dark, intent eyes. And it seemed to me that she had to perform the novel of the pig as soon as I recognized you. Sonorous. Words tell us the case. Monotonous and without shade. Our strong expression.
I am convinced to flaw.
And again, this fact told the truth. Shouts of encore, bravo rang out all around. But she threw a quicken at me. I didn't shout, I didn't clap, I didn't particularly like her. Then she began an affair with Tchaikovsky Noel, only someone who knew the date of thirst. She sang this romance a little differently than the first one. In a low voice, as if she was tired. And only on the penultimate verse will he understand how I suffered. She let out a loud, hot scream. The last verse, and as I'm Strauss, she almost whispered. Well, brother, what do you think? The voice is good, but she still does not know how to beat off the real one. Well, she can still learn. But what a soul. And you're hers now. Meanwhile, the morning continued. The gentleman with glasses appeared again, flashed by. The pianist thundered, a 12-year-old boy, not anointed with curls, but we probably have no tears on our cheeks. They performed some variations on the violin. And here it finally appeared again. She was not holding Pushkin in her hand, however, while reading. Unclearly gave birth. The little book was shaking her finger. The first verse I wrote to my grandmother, what more did she utter extremely simply and naively. Then she began to hurry a little, but starting with the words, there is no other, I would not give my heart in the world. She took possession with you, revived. And when she came to the words, "My whole life was a pledge of a faithful date with you," her voice rang obediently and timidly until then. Eyes and bold stared straight at me. She crumpled up the last quatrain completely, as they say. Pushkin's house slipped out of her hands. "I didn't leave for you." I hurriedly sang. "No, thank you," and almost ran home.
From that day on, our closest cooperation with Clara began. Absolutely mutually beneficial. Mutually beneficial for the two of us.
Strange, vague sensations assailed me. Entities. I didn't particularly like reading Clara either. But it bothered me, this reading. It seemed to me somehow harsh and not harmonious.
It is.
Well, it's like there's something in me, the soul. It was some kind of violence. And this is a close, almost obsessive gaze. What are they for? What do they mean? My modesty did not allow me even a momentary thought that I could be liked. These are strange girls. That he could joke something similar to love, to passion. And I didn't quite imagine it myself. Such a woman, such a girl, whom I will give to myself, who will love me the most, a girl. I've been thinking about it. At the same time, I was both soul and body in my childhood. But the pure image that then arose in my imagination. I am a pure image, then it is probably given to me in a different way. The image of my late mother. Which I remember, but a portrait that I kept as a shrine. Such kind bright eyes, the same wavy hair, the same smile, the same clear expression, should have had that woman, that girl, whom I didn't even dare to expect yet. And this. She is black-haired, dark-skinned, with lips, hair, and a mustache on her lip. She's probably a kind, excited gypsy. What is she to me?
I noticed some changes in the mood of myself. In fact, nothing special happened in it. That's something in his look, in his speeches. I cautiously asked him about the literature he attended. And you probably met some new day. I called all the young ladies who bring fashionable dresses that way. In front of her face is cute, and so she makes faces, and runs out, breaks down. And he describes such circles with his eyes. but it seemed like a habit to ye. Nothing, Yasha. It doesn't mean anything. You drink and Lord, sing.
I thought that.
Thought about it?
I thought that the habit of pampering myself is not on. By the evening, my peace of mind was outraged again. Namely, the messenger brought a note with the following content, written in an incorrect large female handwriting. If you guess what they are writing to you, if you are not bored, come tomorrow afternoon to Tverskaya Boulevard at about 5 o'clock. Do not wait, you will not be detained for long, but it is very important. Answer. There was no signature.
What the?
That's also what I needed. Of course I'm not going. Stop. Wouldn't you like me to? I might have questioned you. I might even have informed you.
No.
Well, that's fine. Not torn, Your Honor, and boldly do not separate. Yes, she completely misunderstood the meaning of this letter. And this copter is a fool, screams on the neck. Me. You have risen. Then she spoke. She talked to her mother about how she lived with her father and how her father met her. I knew all this very well, but I wanted to. Well then.
I am your father, where I loved as a husband should. That's right, honestly, and he didn't know any other woman. As befits the feminine gender, it's bold. Now merged.
And here's yours. In your time.
So who is it? So some kind of a slut. Patoshka.
Shameless.
He comes in and rushes back and forth. And what about her? How sad it is for her to meet some fool. Yes, and I'm glad. Gradual people are neglected.
There I met a few passers-by. The weather was wet and quite cold. I tried not to think about what they were doing. The nervous, restless side was beginning to dress. I've started. I took my watch out of my vest pocket several times, looked at it, put it back, and each time I forgot how many hours were left. Passing by, somehow especially, with some kind of mocking curiosity looking around, the little dog ran to me and started his legs, then began to fly with his tail. I swung angrily at her. But at this very moment, someone came up to me, stood behind me.
From there,
I'm back. Thank you. So, Maria Sergeevna, be kind, it will work twice in a moment. Please. I looked around.
thank you for coming. I had no hope.
She continued. Really?
Here's an act I've heard a lot about you. No, I'm not for a reason, if you only knew. There's so much I wanted to tell you. But how to do it? How to do it?
At your invitation. In order to clarify, in order to find out in the center of what strange misunderstanding, you were pleased to contact me. The person is a complete stranger to you, who therefore did not guess, as they put it in your letter, what they wrote. Therefore, I guessed that you wanted to obvious understanding that morning. I'll be glad to hear if you like it. Can I still?
Don't you understand anything? You've asked God knows what for me. In his Exactly. I made no demands. Definitely needed clarification. Oh, I'm crazy. When I saw you, oh my God. God, how stupid. Like me, wait.
Okay, thanks. Wait.
And again.
Can I do it again? Yes, if the experiment helps. I have come to you at your invitation. I have come, Nenya, just to clarify that. In order to find out what strange misunderstanding there was, you were pleased to turn to me, a complete stranger to you, who would only guess there that it was you who wrote. Therefore, I guessed that on that literary morning, you wanted to express too much, too obvious attention. I am ready to listen to you, and I will even be happy to help you in any way, but I
still don't understand. Me, you're on my life. Really? I was deceived by you. Oh my God, how awful, how stupid our date is. Like me.
Wait, that's it. Thanks. Wait, can I do it again? What? Wait, what to do? Can I do it again, please? What happened? It was different there. Can't you do it right away?
So it seemed.
A man.
My nephew. I sent it.
Please, let's do it again. I have come to your invitation. God has appeared in this not only to clarify, to do something. After what strange misunderstanding, you wanted to turn to me, a stranger who guessed that he had been written to. Therefore, he guessed that at that moment, at that literary one, you wanted to cut off too obvious attention to him. But I don't understand. I don't understand. Why me?
Why? Why are you doing this? Such explanations were definitely not needed at first.
This.
You are my God knows what. Ask for me. How stupid I am. How stupid our date is.
And why did you follow them? In this form, everything is of course. And the next day was very much not going to be a wrath. Work. He couldn't. You didn't know what he wanted. Finally, he got tired of everything. He decided, as they say, to take on the whole story, as it undoubtedly interfered with his studies, disturbed his peace. More than a week passed before he again fell into the usual captivity. Long before history, Eratov began to paint for photographic purposes. He set to work on it with redoubled zeal. So imperceptibly 2 passed, 3 passed. Errata became the old merit. And then one day, running through the not quite fresh Moscow Vedomosti, allegedly stumbled upon the following correspondence.
Clara, I should have told you.
Clara, don't go.
Clara. Clara, don't go. Clara, I should have told you. Clara.
Yes, maybe it's still not true. No. Well, we need to find out who didn't like. Anyway, you have to go to him first. I didn't expect to find him, but I did. I was away from Moscow for a while and was already going to visit him. Received him with due hospitality, which I interrupted with an impatient question. Did you count? Yes. What? Poisoned. This. The one from the newspaper. Or maybe you yourself. Yes, yes, exactly. I am abruptly in Kazan. We from the princess escorted her there to the stage. She took a big shower there. This is a tragedy. Am I there? Yes. I spent a week there, and now she's lost her way there. You have, or rather, I'm in Kazan to get acquainted with the family. I think it's chic. It seems you didn't like Clara at first. In vain. A wonderful head. The trouble head is very tell me what about her family and so on tell me. Everyone is so interested. Please. Klara Milic's real name is Katerina Milividova. Her father, who did not die, was a full-time drawing teacher in Kazan. He painted bad portraits and official images, and he also left his drunkard, a domestic tyrant, after himself with a woman. Ostrovsky and his daughter, somehow older than Clara, but they don't look like her at all. Since childhood, he struck with all his Dorovidness. Having changed her innate love for the theater, she ran away from home with an actress in her 16th year, which is tied there now. True, this actress had a patron, a rich old gentleman, who only because he did not marry her, the fact that he was already married. This actress, it seems, was married, it does not matter, yes. Even before performing on the Moscow stage, Clara sang and played at provincial theaters. Because when she lost her actress, so it also seems, that he got together with his wife somewhere there. She met this wonderful woman, who was able to, and finally, Clara got an engagement in Kazan. She accepted him right away, although she had told me before that she would never leave Moscow. Kazan residents fell in love, which is not a performance. Bouquet and gift, a bread merchant. The first one will be ruined. Golden ink. Firm what she sometimes. I can't tell. I don't know. Definitely. Newspaper. There are no Cupids. Where is Cupid? The water was like me. I'm not afraid of being as hard as a rock. Sasha, I've been remembering her for as long as I can. Lately. So boring.
He is silent for hours and asks her, but isn't it offensive?
I ask her, she's silent. Success on stage has ceased to amuse. She looked so to the side, at the golden ashtray once, and spat on her. The role is a real one, saying that no one will write a mistake, threw everything away, said what do you have in school? But why did she poison everyone?
You know probably.
Can you give me V's address?
Well, why?
Or aren't you going to put a pussy in there? Absolutely.
Only I can't understand in any way why I was so indifferent before, and now such attention.
That's probably all.
Oh, you, Orel. Fights during the experiment are prohibited. Turn on the music.
Stop the music. No, oh, no.
No. No.
Yes, and why on earth did she choose me? What's special about me? Well, what a beauty I am. So the face, like all faces. I had nothing to do with it. It's not my fault. It would be ridiculous to even think that I am to blame. And for that matter, it's all from unhappy love. It is only newspaper correspondents who prevent any such death, prevent unhappy love. To Kazan. Go to Kazan. That's where everything will open up, and all the delusions will scatter like a nightmare.
You're mean. Where did I have enough when, I'm telling you, the solution. I told you. I wouldn't be more surprised if you decided to marry the next baker of the box. Or that you're going to America. Why?
I'm 26 years old. I know what I'm doing. Listen up, what I'm doing. Give me the money. Give me money for the road. Pack my suitcase. I'll be back in a week.
I was so confused that I couldn't even read it.
On the same day, I left for Kazan, where he met the family. Subject number 5, introduce yourself.
Mistress. 60 years old.
Thank you. Suspect number 6, introduce yourself.
"25 years older."
Not without some difficulties. I apologize in advance for my action, said and delivered Vladimir's speech, about how I would like to collect all the necessary information about so early dear artists, as I am driven by idle curiosity but deep sympathy for her talent, in which I was a fan. And how in the end, they were unaware of what had lost them.
For this from Moscow. You will compose a magazine, of course.
No, I'm not composing a magazine.
But on their own.
I don't sympathize. Out of respect. Well then.
I am very, very conveyed. Just think about it, and happiness. She was crazy. Crazy. The theme ended with the same moment. You know how strange he is. What is it for a mother? Thank you for burying her according to Christianity. Since childhood, she has been rebellious. She left her parents' house. Finally, it's easy to say, she went into acting. But I'm her mother. Well, I loved her. Why not even get out in strangers? And if with mine, she's more than a yes.
I named mine. He'll talk. Purposely from Moscow to collect.
She'll tell me I'm in the theater, I'm in a lot of other things. She's smart, educated. She, one might say, brought up Katya as well. I was going to bed until 7 o'clock.
Left alone with the most. That's it, I repeated my stitch to her, but at the first glance, I realized that I was dealing with a girl who was really educated. The expression also spread, and in the end, he was worried and felt that everything. I didn't really know. Not heard once. To I conversation versus was not, as a matter of fact, a conversation.
I was practically speaking alone, at first with a smile, with embarrassment, but then with an uncontrollable heat.
She's obviously your trust.
Soul. He turned out to be not outright outspoken. Messages.
Here's what I learned.
Hot-tempered. She didn't get along especially with sex, which I'm for mediocrity. His mother. Not so adored. Rolled with me and got tired. But she always got down on her knees in front of me and every one of mine. Well, when she met this actress and left our house, did she cry? The father only told the obstinate goat to bother them 100 times, to look for places. She almost strangled me in her arms in no way her own. And I repeat, I can't. I can't help it. After that, we are no longer, and when my father arrived 2 days later, nothing from the inheritance was returned.
I started asking about the kings that.
She answered, but with the same lively enthusiasm. I even showed it. In one of my own, I've been looking at it for a very long time. Asked not to participate, to involve in personal readings, and I said no, that she was always attracted by the excitement of the theater, the stage.
I beg you, tell me. Tell me, why did she decide on that terrible act?
I don't know. And to God, I don't know. From the moment she arrived here, she was definitely thoughtfully nocturnal, with her at the same time. Something happened in Moscow. I can't live the way I want, and it's not ours, there was her saying. And she proved it. I read it. Unhappy love. This is slander, fiction. unapproachable Katu, Katu, and unhappy rejected love. Then I grew up to this ideal of honesty, purity, and most importantly, purity. Listen, I certainly want us to bring ourselves into this and disperse it if possible. In this way it can protect. Listen up. To write, but she was always truthful. I'm going to show you now, and you'll see for yourself. Was there at least some hint of unhappy love?
Yeah, what happened?
Mr. Eratov is missing here.
Господин оратор,